Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen. So we usually talk about travel and language learning on this channel, but today I wanted to focus a little bit on my day job, so to speak. I work as a flight attendant for a US-based airline. I've had that job for a few years now, but obviously I do take a lot of time off to travel. Obviously this last year and a half has been really difficult for the airline industry, but finally, the airlines are hiring again, yay! So if you've been wanting a career in the airline industry, especially a flight attendant, now is the time to apply and go get that dream job. So little disclaimer here, obviously I'm not an expert on the hiring process of all the airlines. However, I will give my personal experience as well as what I believe really got me the job in the end. So let's start from the beginning. When I was looking into a career as a flight attendant, I was looking at all airlines. I think most people do this unless they have like a specific one that they already know they want to work for. And before I even applied, I did a lot of research. I did research on every platform that I could find. I looked at YouTube videos, I looked at blogs, I looked at Glassdoor, pretty much anything that I could find, mainly online, that would tell me something about how I can get hired. Because if you didn't know, it is a very competitive field and a very low percentage of applicants actually get the job. So I looked into tips for every part of the hiring process, of course starting with my resume. I built a new resume all from scratch, specifically with the flight attendant job in mind. I'll leave some links down below if you're still in the process of looking up how to write your flight attendant resume. After I wrote my resume, then I applied to multiple different airlines, and I did hear back from one right away. After that, I narrowed down my search to this specific company and learned everything that I could about the company. Specifically, the upper management in the company, times that they've been in the news, and their vision for the future. Once I heard back from that company, I was invited to an in-person interview where they would fly me to another city and have me interview with a bunch of other applicants at the same time. So of course, I did a ton of research on how to pass that interview as well. Now, when I actually got to the interview, things were a little bit different than how people were saying online. You know, sometimes they change up their hiring strategies, and so it's not always going to be exactly the same as what you hear someone tell you how it's going to be. But still, I don't disagree with doing all that research because I think you can still get a pretty good idea of what they're looking for based on their hiring practices. But really, I can't stress enough how you should always be prepared for curveballs in those interviews. So when I did my in-person, it was with a large group of other people, and it was a very long process, several hours, and it was me and one other person that got chosen that day. So the tips that I actually think got me the job were, one, to have something interesting on your resume. I had done some international travel before I even got the job, and I had done it all through Workaway, just volunteering for my stay. And so in the interview, there was a couple of times when they would ask me questions and I could go back to my volunteer experience or my travel experience and talk about those things and how it would help me in this career. Tip number 2 is something you're probably going to see if you look on Glassdoor or look at anyone else talking about how to pass these interviews, but it's really true, and that was to mingle with the other applicants. However, I will add, a lot of people were doing this, but not in the most professional way, because they are looking for professional adults that are going to be able to handle themselves, but also pay attention to what's really important at the moment. If the interviewer is talking, don't be talking, listen to what the interviewer is saying. If you're missing instructions and having to go and ask them multiple times, like, oh, I didn't hear that, what'd you say? You know, that doesn't look great. There was lots of other people that were mingling and having fun and talking to everybody, but a lot of them were maybe overdoing it, I think, in my personal opinion, just based off of me and the other person that got hired. I think that what they were looking for was people who could be social but also very professional. Third tip I have for you guys is don't stress when you get a question wrong or when you really mess it up. I should put this in air quotes because there's really no wrong answers in an interview question, right? But I had one question that I remember specifically where I literally just sat there for 30 seconds being like, I don't know how to answer this, you know? That happens in all interviews, right? But when it's your dream job and you're really like wanting this so badly, it can be easy to get in your own head and start to freak out and think that that is a bigger deal than it actually is. Just remember, if you get tripped up on one thing, move on to the next thing, it's okay. Or just have fun with it, laugh about it, talk to your interviewer, have a conversation. It's that human connection sometimes that really wins in those moments. Okay, my fourth and final tip is for specifically introverts, because I just wanna let you know I am a hardcore introvert. And yes, for this interview, it was a little difficult for me to, you know, it's not pretending to be an extrovert, but it's flipping your extrovert switch on. You know, it's hard to maintain that for a long period of time, and yeah, you'll come home tired from the interview, but if you're an introvert and you're looking into this career, don't be discouraged by the interview process, by the, you know, job in general. If it's your dream job, go for it. I would just say really work on your extrovert switch. Work on your interview skills, work on your presence when you're around people. I am not at all saying to pretend anything, I'm saying to work on your inner extrovert. I don't want this video to be too long because I think it's better to focus on the most important points. So that's all my tips for today. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comment section below, or you can send me a message. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to support me supporting you getting your dream jobs, and I will see you all next time.